All right, officially we've started our session for today, and we want to thank each and everyone for following the Edify Edtech Clubs course. This is a course that we are running in preparation for the Edify Edtech Exhibition 2025. But we believe the knowledge, the skills, the sharing which is happening is going to live as a resource that is going to help learners in various exhibitions and competitions that will happen, and also generally empower them with their clubs at school so that they can be able to practice and use these same skills and tools to continuously integrate education technology in their projects and learning. So the first day we looked at introduction to the projects and ideation. We looked at creative multimedia. We looked at STEM and robotics on the third session, and today we are going to be looking at coding and app development. Now, before we dive in to look at more of this, I would like to invite our colleague Andrew Dada Grace to give us an opening prayer. Andrew, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mkale, for the opportunity. And also, I would like to thank the members who have been able to make it here. Thank you for keeping up the team spirit, and thank you for being part of these sessions. So humble ourselves and we pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your love. We thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the team that we are. Heavenly Father, we bring this session into your hands. Come and take control. Come and be the lead. May your spirit dwell in our midst, Lord. As we are going to discuss, as we are going to learn, Lord, may you take the lead. May you come and be the teacher, Lord. Come and teach us. Come and take control of these sessions, Lord. We thank you for our partners. We thank you for the team members, and also pray that those that have not been able to join us yet, may they be able to make it. Thank you, Jesus, oh God. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Colleagues, we have time normally is our enemy. So we are going to welcome our colleagues from Kawa. They are going to be taking us through this session. And then at the end, we shall have more interactions and questions and answers. But for now, let us give, let us welcome Kawa to, please, you can go ahead and share screen and take us through presentation for today.
A good afternoon to all of us. I hope we are doing great. So we are going to take you through this today's session, which is Foundations of Coding and App Development. So let me share my screen so that we can all be able to see what we have prepared to share today. I hope we are all able to see the screen.
Yes,
are we able to see the screen? Yes. So I want to welcome you to today's session, which is the Foundations of Coding and App Development. And in this particular session, we are going to basically talk about some basics about we are going to talk about the basics of programming. Basically, we're going to talk about understanding the basics of programming. Then we shall also try to tackle some bit of applying design thinking in app development. We shall also explore some sample projects with Scratch and the MIT App Inventor. For some schools that have done these projects, we understand that these are block-based programming. Yeah, for Scratch and MIT, that's a block-based programming, but we shall also have a look at some bit of also text-based programming so that we do not leave it out. They are both important. Then we shall also have some techniques for testing and also debugging. And finally, we shall also look at building skills, let's say in computational thinking and also innovation, because that is what we learn when we are dealing with this part of coding and programming. So we are going to try to understand the basics of programming. I know it is broad and it is wide. That's why we had some infographic here showing a roadmap to web development. So basically, when you start programming, of course, it's a journey. It's a journey you're taking on. So in that journey, you need a roadmap. So that maybe after studying up to some level, you will need to do some check. You do some check for understanding to see how much you have learned and how much you can do with that skill. So we just have this sample image here. It's about web development anyway, and you can it displays as some basic front end languages and also some tools used in web development, things like that. Just trying to bring out a roadmap when you are on a journey to somewhere. So we are going to understand basically what programming is and also why it is important anyways. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the reason why we have it on our program is because it is important. But now we shall have some reasons why it is important. Yeah, so programming basically involves creating instructions that enable computers to execute specific tasks efficiently. So we might be having our own explanations to this. Yeah, but it is basically just having instructions, maybe a set of instructions that you are ordering to a computer or basically to a computer system, and it is able to execute some specific tasks efficiently. That is what basically programming stands for, and its importance. Of course, we all have mobile devices. We have mobile devices. We have computers. We have our phones. We even have our televisions and most of the things that run on our computers and our phones. We have applications. So all those things were basically built by programming, and the builders use different programs. Yeah, so we are going to also tackle some of those programs that were used for building the different things we use on our devices, be it applications or websites or operating systems. Yeah, different languages have been used, and we can all agree that it has made our life very simple, and also accomplishing tasks also very simple. So that's basically the sole reason why programming is there, to simplify our work, but of course using digital tools and also softwares. Yeah, so we in programming, of course, we also have some more main concepts. It's just like when you start reading a book, you will start with maybe a prologue, but of course in the prologue they will just give you an overview of what our book contains. So for programming, it's just the same thing, just like the way I showed you a roadmap to programming. So that can be our prologue to our book. And after the prologue, you can come to the table of contents, you can come to that, but that is almost, I could put it in that roadmap. So when we move on, we can have like some characters we use in that book, or sometimes we all watch movies. So when movies are starting, we usually have like some characters, renowned characters in the movies, or some characters in the book. So we're also going to understand some important words that we use in programming. So I should say these are like our characters in our movies or characters in our books that we come across. So in these concepts, we have variables. So variables and data types, because those two move together. So variables store data, then data types define the kind of data variables hold. So I should put it in a way that a variable stores the data, but now data is in different forms. So we can have our data, the way we input data into a computer. So we can input data in form of text. We can input data in form of numbers. We can input data in form of, now we can input data in form of numbers, but when they are mixed up with text and some other characters, in case maybe you're having like putting in a password. So for variables, we can try to understand a variable as a box or a container, whereby you're keeping in things and you can keep on, let me say, like a container, and you're having like maybe balls of different colors. So the balls of the different colors, those are the different data variables you are having in that particular variable, which is our container. Then when we now try to understand the data types, as I was talking about, the text, the numbers or digits. So for text, some of them have particular names that identify them. So we have strings, and when you are dealing with a string, you're basically having plain text. That is plain text being inserted into your computer, maybe your text editor or an IDE that you're writing your code from. So when you're entering data in form of plain text, those are strings. Then when we come to numbers and digits, so numbers and digits come in two different ways. We all understand that we can insert data in form of whole numbers, but we can also insert data in form of decimal points. Yes, this is how we are taking, for example, we are inserting 45, and in case we are inserting, let me say, age. So we are taking my age to be 20. So we are entering my age as 20. Then we are entering maybe my weight. So we are taking my weight to be 60.5. So those are two different data types. So whole numbers, when we are inserting data as whole numbers, they are called integers. Then when we are inserting data in form of decimal points, they are called floats or floating points. So for some languages like Python, they easily pick the data. So you do not have to declare, or you do not have to clarify that I am entering a number. You'll basically just type in the number. But for some other languages, like maybe JavaScript, they are kinda strict, I should say, that when you are inserting a number, you have to specify whether you are inserting a whole number or you are inserting a decimal. So when you're inserting the data, you'll start with putting in int, int, to stand in for an integer. Then maybe, okay, Okay, let's proceed. So when you're inserting whole numbers, you will start with inserting int before the number, so that the computer can understand that now you are inserting an integer standing for a whole number. Then when you're inserting a decimal number, so you're going to start with float. So the computer will understand that you're inserting a floating point, which is a number but containing a what? A decimal point. Then we have also, so that is basically about variables and data types. Then sorry. So we also have control structures. Or maybe one or two last things about data types. So we also have Boolean data. I forgot to mention about that. We also have Boolean data, and Boolean data basically deals with the logical situations. Those situations you've come across when you're dealing with maybe Python, and you have if or not, maybe true or false. We also have them in App Inventor, whereby you have to what? To clarify in case you're dealing with some particular button. So a specific command that can do two things at the same time. So there is that Boolean data that deals with true or false. So it's called Boolean data when you're inserting it. Then we also have dictionaries, we have lists. So those are the different data types. Then we have control structures, and the control structures. In the control structures, we have things like loops, we have conditioning. Yeah, I think conditioning can also, we can also put it in the way of true or false, because of course you're putting a condition to the flow of the program's execution. Then the functions and debugging, we can, for functions and functions and debugging. Of course, debugging from our elementary ICT in school. Debugging is, of course, identifying and fixing a program error. Maybe could be a virus, could be, usually a virus or some sort of malware. So that is debugging. Then functions, we use functions also in programming. And okay, we shall just read the brief description of functions here on the screen, because its real explanation is failing to come out. But yeah, those are the basic ones. Those are the basic terminologies I can talk about for our programming session. So of course, in this programming, we also have basic and also the common programming languages. I'm sure this is not strange or rocket science to all of us. We have been able to, if we have not been able to see, or at least we have been able to hear someone mention something to do with Java, JavaScript, Python, HTML, CSS. Yes. So those are the common programming languages, but there are many. We may not exhaust. So we have text-based programming languages. We also have block-based programming languages. Here we have two examples of text-based, but there are so many others. We have the HTML, the the hypertext markup language. We have CSS, cascading style sheets. Those two move together. They are like siblings, I should say, because I should say like they are the backbones. Yeah, they are the backbones, but there is also C, C++, C sharp. There are so many others. So it depends on you. There are also debates. Yeah, so for some people who have gone so deep into the programming, they also have debates, and this of course arises from what programming language you are good at. So for someone who is good at Python, they also have their say. And when someone is also good at C or C++, they will also have their say, and they will say C is the what? Is the grandfather of many programming languages, but that is that. So for us to have a clear view of these programming languages, when we are dealing with the basic ones, now I will start with HTML and CSS. When we are dealing with the basic ones, we shall try to picture out something or view something. So when we are working with HTML, we shall try to imagine us building a house. Are we together? So when we are building a house, of course, we shall start with the foundation and also arranging of the bricks and trying to stack bricks together with the cement and until that part of roofing. So that is all HTML. That is the best HTML can do for us, building the foundation and yeah, basically building the foundation of our building, if we are having a house as an example. Then now, after building our house, we are going to need that house maybe to be plastered. We are going to need it to have some nice coloring. We are going to need it to have maybe in the painting, some people can have graffiti on their houses. You can have different styles of painting on your house. So how we are going to achieve that? Now we bring in its friend CSS. So CSS will deal with the beauty. It will deal with the beauty of our house. So from the beauty of our house, of course, the person that comes next or nearest to that is JavaScript. So us having a beautiful house looking very cool and maybe having also some interesting nice furniture inside is not just enough. We are going to need some bit of wiring. So for the accessories of our house, now that is now what JavaScript comes in, that we have built the way you have our screen here. So we used HTML to have these let me say this text inserted here. So we use now CSS to have this design. Yeah, you have like some design bit. Of course, this is not that sophisticated a design, but we have some design here. So now we are going to need some bit of navigation or also accessories. So when we get back to our example of the house, we are going to need to wire our house. So how is the electricity coming to our house? And that bit of using switches and maybe water. So that is now where JavaScript comes in to help us work on the functionality of our website. So that is now trying to get into the deeper understanding of what our programming languages do. Then, of course, now on the other hand of the block-based programming, we have those block-based languages like Scratch, which provide an intuitive way for beginners to learn programming and also visualize the logic of how things work. So we also have other languages like MIT App Inventor. We have now come to interact with it, and at least now most of us have, at least when we talk about MIT and Scratch, yeah, we can be able to visualize something in our heads. So those ones are block based. Like most of the codes, instead of typing text and numbers and what. So the codes were made and made into blocks. So we can keep stacking those blocks together the way we build houses, keep stacking a block on top of each other, keep stacking blocks, and in the end you have a wall. So it is the same concept this side, that you keep stacking the blocks on top of each other until you come up with a command. So you can have simple short commands, and you can also have some long commands, more so those commands that require logic. But we shall be able to discuss that when we come to the practical part that my colleague Edith will be taking you through in the block-based programming. So we are going to try now applying design thinking in app development. So the design, of course, the design of our application, as we all know, of course, it has to be user-centered, I should say. Yeah, so we should have an approach that the design is what? Is centered around the user. So when you are coding, even if you're not making an application but you're still making a website, you have to first jump from the shoes of you as a designer, and you first step in the shoes of the user, so that you can have a clear idea of how the users are going to interact with your website, or how the users are going to interact with your application, so that you can make it as user friendly as you yourself you are trying to have it. And once we get that, then everything, because now we tried now building our logic from there, I should say. Yeah, so of course we have to empathize with users. We have to understand what the users need, and also what they are going to experience when they are dealing with our applications, I should say. So when you are in those shoes of the user, you can be able to really feel what the users are going to face when they are dealing with your application. Yeah, so that you do not just make up. You can make a nice, maybe a nice application with good logic, but it is very difficult for the users to even use, or even access. Yeah, so all those things we look at. Then also, of course, we have to define a clear problem. And of course, when we define a clear problem, that is now when we are developing project ideas for our applications. When we design a clear problem, we can be able to also have an effective solution to that particular problem. But if we do not have a clear problem, we shall realize that our applications will have a lot of things. It's like a lot of junk. It will make it like let me say, like maybe somewhere whatever you're thinking of, you just keep piling and piling and piling and piling, and it might not be suitable. Yeah, it might not be suitable, or it might lose that user friendliness. But now when we come up with a clear defined problem, we can make an application which is precise, and it can be used to achieve our solutions to that problem. Then, of course, in the app development, when when we are working on our projects, we should also take off time to brainstorm, because when maybe we're having meetings with our mentors, some people have ideas, but then they are shy to bring them out. Yeah, some people just they are just not what? They are not just comfortable with sharing, maybe in public. But when we get back as a team, as a club, and we sit down and we try to what? And we try to share those ideas, we can take off time to brainstorm, and we shall be able to come out with an application which is straightforward, that does not meander, touching this, touching that. Maybe you're dealing with quality education, but then you are having something to do with diseases, then you're having something to do with gender equality. So we realize that our application is basically going to have a lot, and it is also going to take a lot of our time, trying to develop it. But those brainstorming sessions, it might not be one, it might be, we can do it once, twice, a lot of times, until we come up with something that works perfectly. I am very sure that whenever we meet, at least we do not get back the way we came. At least there are always ideas which are always shared, and these ideas are always propelling us to move forward. Then, of course, after coming up with our application, there is also building it. When you're using that, when we are using MIT App Inventor, we have that part of build. So you can build it and run and try to run a what? That prototype on your phone or on any device. And you can also try to share it with the people in your community, so that they can be able to what? To test for the effectiveness, to have that impact on the people, on the people you are trying to what? To target. So I talked about user-centered design and user experience. This is basically what we focus on. Oh, this is what you realize when you put yourself in the what? In the Yes, in the shoes of the user. Yeah. So you get to realize the what? The priorities of what the users want to see, maybe on the front end. Then also how accessible the design can be, and also what? Engagement and the satisfaction of our application. We get to see that. So when we are creating our applications, let us not focus on what? On just the development part or on only the logic, but we should be going back and forth. We first come and look at it as a user, then we get back to looking at it as what? As the developers. That's why we had that part of what? Of the prototype, so that you keep testing. It's good with these block-based tools. They help us to preview. Yeah, they help us to preview live what we are working on. For MIT, you can connect to a phone. For Scratch, you can see from your computer, and yeah, you can really tell whether you are actually working on the right thing. What you're working on is actually coming out, or it is not. Yeah, so those things can help us to really understand that in the end, we are not having a failing project, but something is coming out. Then, of course, now in the this particular part of turning ideas into app solutions, that comes in during our brainstorming sessions. In the brainstorming sessions, that's where we are going to have to come up with creative idea generations, maybe trying to look at ideas of like how our application is going to look like, or what the user is going to see when they open our application on the first screen. Do they need to log in? Don't they need to log in? Do they just have to start directly? Are they having only one page? Things like that. We can have them in our brainstorming sessions. Also design thinking, it is just basically the same thing, I should say. In our brainstorming sessions, we can also try to look at what different designs we can try to what we can try to apply to our application. Then also the programming and development. Of course, now we are combining a lot of programming skills to transform now designs into functional and efficient applications ready for use. Yeah. So for design and development, now after our brainstorming sessions and coming up with ideas, drawing rough sketches, sketching on paper, trying to write something, even we can go to an extent of writing our codes on paper. Also getting some ideas from the what? Getting some ideas maybe from maybe artificial intelligence. Then we head on to the what? We head on. Yeah, so we are going to now have some sample projects in Scratch and also MIT App Inventor. And this is where I'm going to hand over to my colleague Edith to take you through. But before, I wanted us, I've talked a lot of theories, and I might seem maybe a dictator. So I wanted us to look at basically, I can just show you where we write the codes, and also how maybe the different codes, how we can try to identify different codes, how they look like. Okay, can we all see the VS Code?
Yes.
Okay, great. Here, you now have a space whereby you can write your what? Your CSS code. Then, of course, the CSS code is for the design of our HTML, page. Then we can also have Python, and you can just still have demo. So I'm just going to be using demo all through to the extension for Python is .py. Yeah, .py. So we can see that at the beginning it attaches some two snakes on it. So that tells us, yes, that icon tells us that is a what? A Python code. So in Python, we are going to try to what? To run maybe a simple code. So Python is simple to, I should say, it's good, it's interesting to use. So we can try print. So we're going to say maybe print hello world. Hello world. So we are going to try to run.
The sound had gone off. I think they're able to unmute now. Earlier on, they were talking about coding, and they demonstrated using VS Code. Now, I can see the screen is showing MIT App Inventor. I think you want also to do some demo here.
And the voice is now clear?
Yes, they are now clear.
I think everyone can hear me now very well.
Yes.
So I was trying to take you through the MIT App Inventor interface or the user interface, whereby I talked about that it has two sessions or user interfaces. The first interface is the designer side. And when you look where my cursor is, that is the designer side. And when we talk of the designer side, this is the whole interface. So in the designer side, what we have the user interface, or what we can call the palette. And the user interface here, or the palette, it contains the components. And when it comes to the components, this where my cursor is, these are all the components whereby you can select. My brother Isaac has talked about the block-based programming languages. When it comes to MIT App Inventor, the code is already prepared, but it is hidden. So when it comes to selecting anything or any component that you select from the user interface, the blocks are hidden. But now when it comes to the designer side, this is how you're going to design your application. He talked of constructing a house, combining the blocks, sand, and then you after combining, then you get a wall and a full house. So when it comes to the designing side, what we need, or what you need, he has talked about brainstorming. What do I need? How do I need my application to look like? Which kind of application am I going to create? So when it comes to the user interface, these are the components that you are supposed to select. He talked of drag and drop. So when it comes to Scratch and MIT App Inventor, this is whereby you drag and drop the components. So these components, it is like I'm going to construct my house, but I need some materials to use. On the side of MIT App Inventor, instead of using the word materials, we are going to be using the word components. So if I want to construct a house, what do I need? I need some blocks, I need some cement, I need iron sheets. So when it comes to that, those materials I have talked about, those are the components we are having here. So among all the materials that we need, we don't need every material that is supposed to be used in my construction or in my house building. So I just select few components. Remember, members, I have told you that when I use the word components, I mean materials, or we can say building materials. So when it comes to building materials or components here, any component I select from the user interface, I'll just drag and drop it here. And where do I drop the component I have selected from the user interface or from the palette? We call this a viewer. Or what I have forgotten to talk about is the designer side has 4 sessions. The first session is the user interface or the palette. The second session is the viewer, or as you can see, we have an image of a smartphone, but we call it a viewer in MIT App Inventor. So when it comes to components here, these we can call them selected components. This is the entire components or a group of components. So whereby if I select a component here and I drag it here, the moment I drag it in the viewer, it will be displayed. So this one shows the list of materials or components that I have selected, the ones that I need to use in order to build or create my app. So when it comes to, I think we have understood the component side. When I use components here on the user interface, this is the entire number of components. But if I select few numbers, I drag and I drop them in the viewer interface, which means the ones that I have dropped here on the viewer, it will be displayed. The ones that will be displayed here on the components, these are the selected components, the few materials that I need to use to construct or to build or to create my app. We have another session of properties. So when it comes to properties, we have been using Microsoft Word to type our work. We do we do make changes. We use the toolbar in whereby we find that when you are using this toolbar in Microsoft Word, you are typing your work, you are putting in you are inserting or adding in some images. The way how you'd like your text, the size of the text must be small. Then you need to increase the what? The font size. Or you need to put in some colors. So when it comes to make those changes in Microsoft Word, when you are typing or creating some work, the property side is the same applies to the property side. If you want to make some changes on your application, what the use of sorry for interruption, members. So when it comes to the property side, this is whereby you make all the changes. For example, if I would like to, here we selected online. When I look at this one, this is a drawing app, and someone selected Canva plus accelerometer. So accelerometer is a sensor. Where did this person get this? This person selected all these things, all these components from this side of the user interface or the palette. Maybe when someone wants, okay, when it comes to the property side, this is whereby you do what? You make some changes. The way how you make changes when you are typing your work, operating your work. Maybe to briefly take you through how this person selected these two components, maybe I'll start with deleting. So when you click on Canva, you can see that it is highlighted, and when you can select delete from this side. If I say delete, it will just display that, do I need to delete this component? Yes. In saying yes, you just click delete and it will be deleted. The same applies to accelerometer sensor. So we'd like to see where this person exactly got it from. So when you look at the user interface or the palette, this person used Canva, and Canva is going to help us to design. And in designing, that is drawing and animation. So you click on drawing and animation. Of course, you can see we have 3 components here. I'm going to select Canva. I already told you that this is a drag and drop. So from the user interface or from the palette, I'll just drag what the component I have selected and drop it in our viewer. So the moment you can see that on the viewer side, or the component that I have just dropped on the viewer or in the viewer, it is too small. I cannot do anything with this space here. What I need is to enlarge. So I'm going to show you the importance or the use or how we can use the property size, the property side. The moment I click on this Canva that is highlighted here, I just need to make some changes. The way how I told you earlier, that the moment I click on height, if I need to add in some pixels, maybe we shall give it some figures like 30. The moment I add in 30 and I click OK, you can see it becomes more small, or it becomes a bit smaller. But if I click on my height and I say fill parent and I click OK, you can see that my height has already changed. So this is the use of the property size, the property side. And if I go to make some changes on width, the moment I click on width and I say fill parent and I say okay, you can see that I have already made some changes on my app, the way how I'd like to look like, because this is a drawing app and it has provided us space whereby we can do what? We can make drawings, we can draw any image of anything you feel like that you'd like to draw. We have got enough space. So when it comes to accelerometer, of course, I need to close this. Always, members will remember to close, to open and close. Why am I saying this? That the moment you open here and you scroll up, you make sure that this don't cross the boundaries or don't cross this line. It is supposed to appear. The reason as to why I'm saying, or I'm talking about this, that the moment you open here and you scroll up, the moment you select something from this side or a component, you cannot drop it because you don't have enough space to drop. So you need to always open and close such that the viewer always is being seen, such that you can drag anything from or any component from the user interface and drop it in the viewer. So I'm going to close. We saw that our former components that were selected, we saw something like accelerometer. And this is a sensor. Where do we get the sensor? Or where did this person get the sensor? This person went to sensors and selected accelerometer as the sensor that is going to help us to sense. And we shall get to know why we have selected this sensor and the role that it is going to play. So I'll just drag and drop my sensor. You can see the moment I selected Canva and dragged and dropped it here in my viewer, it was displayed this side and we saw it. But now you can see when I selected the accelerometer sensor, they are telling me that it is non-visible. It is a non-visible component. I can give an example of making a call. If I'd like to make a call, there is a button whereby you click, but when you click that button, you cannot see the phone trying to gather together or to compile together some calls to bring them on the display such that you can make a call. For you continue clicking, and at the end of the day, you make a call. But you cannot see how this phone has got to know that this person has clicked on this button and I'm supposed to display the contacts. And you cannot tell that how does this phone senses that if someone clicks on this button, this person needs to make a call. So these are some of the non-visible components. You cannot see them, but there is a role that they are playing. And the role of this sensor, we shall get to know or to understand it. So members, I would have shown you different areas whereby if I selected a button or a label here, I would have made some changes. But for the interest of time, let me just go to the block side. Remember, I've told you that the MIT App Inventor has two sessions. The first session is the designer side, where the designer side I also have 4 sessions. The first session is the palette, the viewer, the component side, and even the property side. So it is time now to go to the block side and we see how it looks like. So members, this is the block side, where the moment you select the components or the selected components, you can see the word screen 1 here. Any component you select, it will be transferred or taken automatically to the block side. As you can see here, if I go back to the designer side, you can see I'm having screen 1, and at the same time, I'm having my 2 components that I selected. So when you go to the block side, you don't need to copy and paste. It will be taken there automatically. So when it comes to the block side, you can see I already have my selected components here. So what I'm going to do, or what we need to understand here, that the code is already made, but what we are going to use is just to select the blocks that are already prepared for us. My brother Isaac had already talked about something like compiling, or he gave an example of combining bricks or blocks while constructing the house, such that we can get a wall. Then from there, we get a full complete house. So in order to make our application or our application function well, so when you go back to the designer side, we have designed our house. That is a sketch, or that is the image, the way how we want it to look like. But when it comes to the block side, we need to command. This is whereby we give commands, because when we go to the designer side, it is helpless. It cannot do anything. It cannot understand the language you are telling it to do. You have just designed, or you have just drawn the image. But when you go to the block side, this is whereby you make your app to function or to make some orders. I'm going to give an example of a teacher in a classroom. This teacher gives a command to the learner or one student. I'm going to use a name Rose. Please, Rose. Yes, please. It is okay. I'm about to wind up. So I'm going to give an example of Rose. Please, Rose, you go and sweep the class. Then Rose cannot sweep the class alone. The classroom is too wide, or it is too big. So this person, this learner or Rose is going to call other learners or students to help her to sweep the class. So the teacher has given a command to the learner, and this learner is going to call other learners. So this learner is a block. and even calling other learners to come in and help sweep the class. These are also blocks. We are combining other learners. One learner is calling two learners are calling three learners, such that they can sweep the classroom. After sweeping the classroom, they have completed their task. So this is whereby the block side comes in. I'm just giving an example of commanding, and after commanding, the system does what you have commanded. So this is the use of the block side. So the teacher is going, that these learners, after sweeping, they are going to go back to the teacher and tell the teacher, we have completed the task, or that we have swept the classroom. So in going back to tell the teacher, this teacher needs to come and confirm whether they have swept the classroom. So in confirming, these learners, we take them to be as blocks. Then we need to combine them and make them to function. And in commanding these learners to do something, they have done it. Now they have reported back to the teacher. And reporting back to the teacher, this teacher has to go to the classroom and confirm whether they have done the work. So here in MIT App Inventor, we call it testing. So in testing our application after commanding it, in testing our testing our applications, you just go to connect. Then here in connecting or testing our application, whether it is working or not working, we need to have installed the AI companion on our phones, or MIT AI companion on our phones. This one is going to help us to transfer the application from the computer or the PC to the smartphone. And in transferring it, the moment I click on this, it is going to produce a QR code. So we are going to use the AI companion on our smartphone to scan the QR code. And after scanning, it is going to load. After loading, it will send what it has loaded to the smartphone. Then from here, you will just see whatever you have designed on the computer. You will be able to see it on your interface of your phone or your screen. Then you just click on your phone or that interface and you start using it. Maybe to show you the side of the blocks or the commands, how we use these blocks to command. We normally say, I'm giving an example that when Canva is dragged, what will it do? I'm going to select this first command. When Canva is dragged, what will it do? Of course, it will call Canva to do what? To draw lines. And why am I doing this? This is how you select your blocks or to combine them to command them. When Canva is dragged, what is it going to do? It is going to call Canva to prepare for us lines. Remember, we are creating or designing a drawing app. And when you are drawing, of course, you need those lines to come out with something that if you combine these lines, we shall come out with an image. You can see that I still need some combination of blocks in order to do what? To complete my command. So here, the image that we are going to be drawing on our screen of our phone, it will be the present image. But when you rub off that image, it will become previous. So we shall select get previous X. This one is going to prepare for us something that is previous. Because when you look at the current image, that is the current image is the one that you have just drawn. But if you rub off that image, it will be now becoming the previous, it will become the previous image. So we're supposed to select this previous X, then plus previous Y. These are some of the lines that we have used to make the current image. So I'm just going to use also X here to combine or to compile all my commands. You can see that my command is now what? Complete. I need this Canva here. It is supposed to create for me space whereby I can draw and rub off. But when you look at this command, you are not seeing anything like rubbing off or clearing. So which means I need another command. And this command is going to come from the accelerometer sensor. that when accelerometer, or the moment you shake your phone, when your phone is shaking, the accelerometer sensor, what will it do? The moment it senses that you are shaking your phone, what will it do? It means that it is going to call Canva. For it, it cannot rub off. It doesn't have that function of rubbing off. So what you need is that you need to go back, or it will call Canva to again do what? To clear. I think we are getting something, members, when I'm combining these blocks. So in brief, our command is done. So when Canva is dragged, the moment you are dragging or trying to draw something on the phone, Canva will make lines, will prepare for you lines, drawing lines. The moment you are drawing, you will see those lines on your what? On your application. So the image that you are drawing, that you are drawing is current, but when you rub it off, it will become previous. So when it comes to the sensor, the accelerometer, the moment you shake this phone, the sensor cannot rub off. It is again going to call Canva to clear. So you'll always draw your images. After drawing, you shake your phone. After shaking, or while you are shaking, the sensor will sense that someone needs to rub off what is being or displayed on the screen. So members, this is how we combine our blocks. Maybe if some members have some questions about our session.
Okay. Thank you very much. Maybe you would share with us, because by the time you started,
Yes.
the screen was already there. So maybe you share with us how to go to MIT, and also which resources, where can we get some more videos and what to learn, in case mentors and teachers want to try out some tutorials and all that. Thank
So
you.
when it comes to Mr. Roger, thank you for that very good question. So when it comes to the tutorials, Kawa, we have prepared some good tutorials for you. We have captured some videos explaining this, and it is on our YouTube channel. I think you can see the way how we are trying to show you where you can get them. It is on Kawa Tech Talks. The moment you go to YouTube, so you just type in So members, can we see that? Are we still?
All right, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So these are some of the tutorials that are being prepared by Kawa. The good thing, it is in our own voices. You know, the Africans, when it comes to the accent of the other sisters and brothers of ours, but now these are the ones that we have made as Kawa team. So I think you can see how we can access them.
Yet another interesting tutorial on the MIT App Inventor, and this is presented to you by the Kawa Uganda team. And in today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to build the image app, an app that lets you add the different images of your choice, so that you get that very, very decent outlook. And that is the business that we are doing today. Okay, so for any project you're working on MIT App Inventor, for as long as it's something new, you always have to come here, then you start a new project. Then the project we are working on is called the image project. So you can just name it like the image, then we give it some seconds to load and give us the other decent interface. Okay, so now this is now.
So Mr. Rogers, briefly, those are some of the tutorials that Kawa team has prepared. Don't be surprised to hear Anita, Isaac, Edith with our own voices. And it is very interesting, by the way. So I'm going to take you through how the steps, how you can start from, if I may say, scratch. So here I'm going to open a new tab. The moment you go to Chrome or Edge, any browser or any searching engine, the moment you open it, you just type in MIT. The moment you type MIT, you just select MIT App Inventor. and it will automatically, the interface will come out looking like this. So you select MIT App Inventor, and this is the interface or the session that comes. Our most interesting area is creating apps. So the moment you reach on this session, you just click on Create Apps. So the moment you click on Create Apps, these are some of the finished projects. But whenever you need to start a new project, it will bring a plain interface. In starting a new project, there are some, this person has ever used MIT App Inventor, but if it is your very first time to use MIT App Inventor, there are some sessions that you need to select. There is what we call Now. There is also we call Classic. So those are two sessions. I always recommend that we select Classic because for it has all. But when you select the other session of Now, this includes the animal images, animal sounds, something concerning animals. But when you select Classic, it will just do what? It is one in all. It is all in one. So when you're starting a new project, so long as this person has already used and has a lot of projects, you just need to click on Projects, Start a new project. So here I'm starting a new project, and you will always need to name your project. For example, I'm going to use, let me say Edith. And okay, I have already named my what? My application. You can see it is loading at the same time. So maybe as it is loading, you can see it has brought the new session members. This is how it looks like. So you can start from here to create. You can see the name I have just given my project. So in brief, all the tutorials can guide you. They are already made, how you can access MIT App Inventor, how you can start to use it, and how you can interact with it. So maybe I think I have answered you, Mr. Rogers.
Yes, thank you very much. This is very wonderful. I didn't know about the resource of the tutorials because I've been sharing tutorials in Indian accent, in which accent, but now we have our own, and this is very wonderful. I would like to open this up. Any other facilitators and also the teachers, the learners who are on call, if you have any question, we are looking at programming, and we have technologies right from coding, text-based coding, and then also text-based coding sometimes a bit intimidating to young children. So young children, they can also do block-based programming. And at the end of the day, they should have a problem statement, they should have a project which can be, and then they have something which can be able to be presented. But before we can maybe share something as we conclude, let us get some members. If you want to say something, you can put up your hand or you can unmute, and then you say. Then also, I don't know whether Kawa, you had finished the presentation or you are still presenting. Can be able to have some few members say something, then we proceed.
Yes, Mr. Rogers, we are still waiting for some questions from schools that have attended. Then that's when we shall end the session, maybe. Yes, please. The platform is open for everyone to ask some questions where you have not understood, members.
Members, please go ahead and unmute. I can see also different facilitators. I can see who are on. Teacher Nora, you are on. I understand you are in the field. I don't know if you have any comment on some of the coding programming projects. You have been doing a lot of Scratch in the field. And which kind of project someone can look at, for example, how can I come up with a program which can make sense? Because I might be new to MIT App Inventor, and then the only thing I can do is just a simple code. How can I make it really an app which I will show parents, which I will show the public, which has a problem it solves. So let us get a few comments, members. Don't just keep quiet and then proceed. Yeah, it is. You can just unmute. Just unmute if you want to say something. Just unmute and then talk.
Good
Yeah. Good evening. Your network is a bit unstable. You may have to.
Shareability. I'm seeing there is a question. There are some questions in the chat, and maybe they can. There are some questions in the chat, so they can maybe answer some of them.
Okay, thank you very much. I can see someone has asked, how can one use code, for example, JavaScript in App Inventor instead of drag and drop code blocks? So as I told you earlier, members, that when it comes to MIT App Inventor, you don't need to do the real code or the text. You don't need to use the text block based. So you don't need to type, you don't need to do any text. What you need to do is to use, okay, the blocks or the coding is already made. It is the codes are hidden. It is you now to use the blocks only. All programming languages are combined, but the codes are hidden. You cannot see them. But what you see is the block. They have combined them. They have already done the coding to easen your work, such that when you drag and drop, it will easen your work of designing and building your app. I think I've answered you, my dear, the person who asked this question.
Yes, thank you very much. Any other question? So members, there are some, yesterday I was telling us to look in science fairs and the like. We have learners who are presenting systems which they have coded. Fine children in senior 2, senior 3, they have coded with Python, with what, and they have projects. Then also we have apps. You can do a very powerful app with MIT App Inventor. Some of them are like on the Gaza High School website. You see some different apps learners are able to do. So in this session, we are just trying to show you just a brief about the tools so that you can dig deeper and innovate. Yeah, so do we have any other comments? Any other comments? Fresh teacher, I think your question has been asked. So if you are to do JavaScript, then you are doing a web-based app. And so you are just going to use VS Code and any other ways, and then you code it. Yeah, but if you are using App Inventor, then you already have an environment where the coding is done for you in the back end. You just use the blocks like the way. Yeah, there was also someone who asked a question. He was wondering. That if his project he has used the coding, but he's actually programming a website, a web app, and he also has a YouTube channel. So he was seeing 3 categories all in the same project. He has a website with a YouTube channel, but he has coded it manually. And now he's wondering, is that going to be under programming? Is it going to be under websites category, or is it going to be under multimedia category? So what the judges are going to look at is going to be the product, okay? They are not going to, the technologies used, you'll tell us. So what we see is the app, whether you have coded it manually, or you have used MIT App Inventor, or it's a website, you have used WordPress, or you have used the manual coding. Whichever you have, that was your choice. For us, we are going to look at the product. Is the product working? Is it solving a problem? Is it a quality product? Is it really good? So the judges are going to look at the product, regardless of which technology you have used. Yeah, so if you have used multimedia,
is your media good? Whether you use the Canva or you use the Premiere Pro or you use the Photoshop, that is not the matter. What the matter is the product, the one that you are presenting. So if you use your MIT App Inventor, use it well and get the best app to show. Whether you're using Android Studio to code your app using Java, that is your problem. What we want is the app to work. So I hope I've clarified that. Any other comments?
Mr. Rogers.
Hello. There is
Yes, go
another
ahead.
question from Brentset High School. Can we insert images and icons for the app?
Thank you. Thank you very much for that very good question. So when it comes to, there is a question I'm having a look at here in my chat box. It is like, can we insert images and what? So I'm going to show you something very brief here in how you can, yes, you can add in the images. I want to add that question. You can add in the images and even you can even change the icon. So when it comes to icon, maybe some members cannot get it well. So when you look at the screen of the phone, if I want to go to YouTube, of course, there is that image that shows that this is YouTube. If I want to go to Play Store, there is that image. So that image that shows that application, that's what we call the icon. So when it comes to the question, back to the question, adding in images, even changing the icon of the app, you can see they are telling us here that this is the background image. So when you click on the background image here, it allows you to upload. And when it allows you to upload, you just go to choose a file. You can see the moment you have some images on your PC, I don't know whether I have some images around here. I would have selected, but you can select one of the images here. So you can see I'm having some images here. So when you look at this picture here, I have selected this one. The moment I select it, it is selected and you just click on open and you can see that it is already here, the name of the picture. The moment I click OK, it will be displayed here and at the same time it will be shown. So this is how you put in the background, or that is how you insert in or you add in images. So maybe the moment you make some changes, any changes you make, that is how you do it. So the moment you say, okay, you can even change that very image. The moment it uploads, it will change. So when it comes to icons, I'll just come here on my project properties. Sorry. Members, I think you can see how we can upload the what? We can upload the image. So you can see I have already changed my image here. So long as you go to the background, you can even change the background color. So long as you play around with the property side. That is the use of the property side of it. So when it comes to the icon, you just come here on your properties. Then you can see some sessions. You can see the name of my app. It is already here. You can see I named it Edith. My app name is Edith. So you just look for the icon side. So you can see there is no any picture on the icon. You just click on the icon. The same applies to what we have done the other side of adding in the images. So the same applies here. You upload, you click on the icon, you upload. When you click on upload, the same steps. The moment you select the file, or you can choose any of the pictures or images on your PC, or if not, the moment you you have already some uploaded images here. You select one of those, then you use that, and then you say, okay. So that's all, members, that we can make some changes. When it comes to the icon, you just come to the property side. So when you are done, you just close it. So this is how it is being done, members. Any other questions? I think someone is contented according to what we have just done. Maybe, members, what I have forgotten to talk about is when you are connecting on the smartphone or on your phone using the AI companion, members, you just use it there and then. But if you want to share your app to other members via WhatsApp or Bluetooth, any ways of sharing information from one person to another, you just come here on build. So you just click on Android app or the APK. The moment you click on this, the same applies to this. It loads or it packages. After loading, as you can see, it is already loading. So now it is also going to give us two options after loading on our PC here. After loading, it is going to give you the option of either using the USB to transfer the application to another device, or it is going to give us an option of downloading or installing. So the moment you select one of these options, as we can see, it is still loading and it is bringing those two sessions. So I've already talked of downloading and even the QR code. You can either download. After downloading, then you do what? You share using the USB cable. Then from here, you can even scan using the AI companion on your smartphone, the way how I had talked about it earlier. So when you scan, it will just, on the other side of your smartphone, it will just tell you to do what? To download on your phone. And in downloading this information, it will give you the session of installing this app. And after installing it, you can still share to any person, any other person who would like to use it. I think, members, I've answered you. This one is it is being downloaded on this very PC or on your own PC. Then you use the USB cable to transfer the information to the other side. Then, or either, someone has raised their hand. You can scan the QR code and then you install it on your phone and then you share. Yes, so Destiny Preparatory School has raised the hand. You can mute and let me unmute and then you can unmute and then you.
Yes, hope you're getting me. I was asking that can I upload that after creating my app, can I upload it on Apple Store or and other social media so that other people can download it? That is my question.
Yes, that's a very good question, and thank you for asking a very good question. When it comes to uploading it, yes, it can be done, but there are some features or there are some elements that we need to add in such that it can be uploaded and put on the Play Store such that other members can also make research of it and use it.
Maybe I can say something on that. So uploading your app on Play Store is free, but the first time you're uploading it, you pay some money. Because the first time when you're creating an account, you need to pay. But then after that, you can upload all other apps later. So depending on the dollar rate, it could be around 250,000 for that. But for now, for this sake of this competition, because we are still learning and testing, you can just upload your APK because MIT App Inventor is going to allow you to get an APK. So you can put your APK on a server, like for example, you can post even on Google Drive. You can upload your APK there. Then you get a link. Then that link of that Google Drive, you can shorten it So when you are presenting your app, you will tell people to go to that link to download the app. So you don't necessarily have to put that app on Play Store to share it. You can easily share your app by uploading it to Google Drive, and then after putting it on Google Drive, you can be able to get a link and then you share. Maybe let me try to do, because I can see most of the members have been sharing questions. So let me try to share. Let me try to share here, and I show something on that. Yeah, so okay, so I hope you can see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Mr. Rogers, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. So if you have an email and you go to Google Drive, you can be able to create a folder, okay? And then I can say, on this folder, I can say my app. So I'm just telling members here briefly, how can you host your app and share it with people, even when you may not, because on Play Store, you can go to Google Play Store and create an account, but you need to pay money in order to host. And by the way, Google Play Store will have to also check your app and see whether it is well done, it is secure before they can allow it to be published. But here, as you are learning, even for this competition, you don't need to do all that. So you are going to get your APK. The APK is a file that you are going to download from, you are going to get that APK. Like for example, I'm having an APK here called KVote. This is an app for voting, which I may have created. So on the MIT App Inventor, I'll get my APK. I'll download like Edit has shown us. So I'm going to come here and I say file, and then I say file upload. And then I will put my app here. Let me hope it will allow to upload. If it refuses, then I may have to zip it or something. This is one way. If you have a server like a website, we actually, tomorrow we are going to be looking at websites, and we have some free hosting. So if you want, we can still host it for you on the server. So, and we give you a link, which you can always share for people to download the app and install. Yeah, but you can even host it on Google Drive. Then after that, you can go and get a shortening service, a URL shortening service. For example, there's one called bit.ly. Bit.ly, this is a very common one, which we normally use. So because the Google Drive link is going to be too long, you can be able to use this bit.ly. You can log in with your Google, and then you can shorten your long link. So my APK has been hosted for free within a minute. I don't have to host it on Play Store. I've hosted it here. So I am going to come here and then I share. So I'm going to click on share, and then when I'm clicking on share, I change here where there's restricted to share it to everyone with the link, okay? So otherwise, if you don't do that, people will not be able to access the app. Then viewer, I say copy link. Then I come here, I come to bit.ly platform, and then I can be able to paste my link. They're going to give me a link, but I can customize this link more by giving it a better name. For example, if my school is called Shareability, and I want to call my app Shareability, I'll click on Edit Backup, then I say Shareability KVote, okay? Shareability KVote. The app is called KVote. If your school is called the Ginger Comprehensive, you can say JC KVote, okay? So now when learners are on stage and they are presenting their app, they will tell the parents, the people who are on stage, please try our app now. Just go to bit.ly/shareability KVote, and they will be able to download. And you can put this link even in your slides, okay? So with this, you'll be able to have your link available. You can also change this app, where there is untitled. If you want, you can change that other title, but it's not very important. So you can use this. When someone goes to this bit.ly/kvote, it will automatically tell them to download the app, and the app will be able to download, and then they install on their phones. So that was one thing that I wanted to say. Then also the other thing, as we conclude, we shared some examples of, we have a website where we shared some articles. Those are apps which we shared examples, we just to show you how do you connect a problem to creating an app, but doesn't not necessarily that you should do the same when you are designing, or you should just transplant those same ideas and then you use them. Yeah, but we were trying to see that, okay, today, Kawa team has shown us how to use MIT App Inventor. How do I connect a problem and the theme to the app, okay? How do I do that? So let me just use some small example here. Use some small example here, and I'm also going to be showing you here as we wrap up. So I'm having some 3 examples here, and I hope you can see these are examples of apps. So identify a problem. The problem is saying students struggle to identify nouns. Okay, so nouns are taught in P3, P4, and you have realized learners are failing to identify the nouns, and the teachers are struggling with manila papers. They are printing, they are getting those charts on the road every time. They are wasting a lot of money. So as a EdTech club at the school, you decide to create a nouns app that is going to be having the pictures. So you can see here, Edith has shown us how to put a picture. So I will put my picture of a banana, of a cow, of a what. Then when the child clicks on it, it can bring options, or you can select which noun is this. Then you can say it is a cow. It is, when I say a cow, it gives me feedback. Edith has shown us conditions, how to program that cow. So that the condition is, once it is clicked, you should be able to display options. And then from there, when a learner clicks the correct option, you should be able to give feedback. So you have created an app using MIT App Inventor, and you have used the Scratch, okay? And the for MIT App Inventor, you will be able to get an app, APK. I've shown you how to share your APK. But for Scratch, I'm also going to show you how do you share your Scratch program, because we shall be wanting to see the program. How do you share the Scratch program with parents so that they can learn it, they can practice, they can test it? How? So how do you host your Scratch? I'm also going to show you that one before I conclude. So you should have a problem statement, like prayer requests. In our churches, sometimes we write these prayer requests on papers, and our pastors and what, they even throw them there. But you can create an app whereby prayer requests can be submitted through that, so that the church and other people can be able to have those prayer requests and pray for them. So always come up with a problem statement, visualize your app by prototyping, like the first presenter showed us, design your interface, and then use the tool, whichever tool you use, whether you are coding it using text-based programming, whether using block-based programming, doesn't matter. What we want is the product working. Of course, we shall ask you to tell us how you created it. We may be interested to know, but we shall not judge you that because for you coded, then we give you more marks because this one knows a lot of coding. He coded JavaScript, and then we start shivering. And then the other one used the Scratch, and then we say, the other one just use simple Scratch, no marks. No. Someone may use Scratch and it does a better program than you with your JavaScript. But again, JavaScript has more control, and that means you have learned more and whatever. So whichever technology you use, we shall appreciate it, but we shall look at the product. Is it working? Is it having a problem it addresses? Is it in line with the theme? And on Monday, we talked about the theme of creating impact through technology and Christian values. Even in the first category here,
I showed you that there are some Christian values in there. So the app doesn't have to always be talking about maybe prayer or the Bible or what. No. Even this one, which is to addressing literacy, it means it is helping, and that is service. It is providing a service, and service is a Christian value. So please don't be scared, and people are scared. Hey, now every YouTube video we should be doing should be preaching the gospel. No. You are not supposed to create YouTube channels preaching the gospel only. You can create YouTube channels addressing health, addressing education, addressing security, addressing whatever. They are also providing a service, and service is also a Christian value. So I hope really I've tried to address that. Now let me talk about the last thing as we conclude. How do you host your Scratch program? So Scratch is very, very easy. Today they have demonstrated MIT App Inventor, but Scratch is very good for example, the kids, because the MIT App Inventor is like level 2, Scratch is like level 1 when you are really learning block-based programming. So if you are deciding to do your program in Scratch, you can go to online, Scratch itself. So when you go to online and then you say Scratch, MIT, you are going to find the website for Scratch, okay? So to host your Scratch, some of you are using the other offline Scratch. That is good because it works without internet, the one which you have installed or offline. Like for me, I have it here. I have this Scratch which is on my desktop. This is good, but that means your program is only on your desktop and no one can play it. For them to play, they will have to install Scratch and then you send them the Scratch file. So what we want is you will have to go and sign in on the online Scratch, and then you upload your Scratch. Scratch provides the free hosting for Scratch projects, and they will give you a link which you can be able to share with the even in your PowerPoint as you'll be making your PowerPoint. So when you come here and let me see if I can. Okay, I don't have login, so I'm going to click on join Scratch. So you can come and say join Scratch, and then I can say let me call it shareability, shareability Rogers. Then I'm going to use my number, a password, a very simple password. So let me just say 07, my initial 07. This one, as children, you can use a simple password that you can be able to use. And I have my account. So I'm in Uganda, I'm based in Uganda, and I'm able to have my program. This is just a test program. Where were you born? I was born in August. So you set up a year where you were born, you create a simple account. I'm a male, and then you create an account. And then you can also put there your email address, okay? And then you create your account, okay? So when you create this account, Scratch is going to send you some email to verify, but that is basic. Yeah, so you need an account so that you can be able to host your Scratch programs, and even other people can be able, you can even keep editing it online because this is the cloud now. It has these things to verify that I'm not a robot. Let me hope they are not going to waste a lot of my time. So I wanted to just show you how to, okay. Okay, so it depends really. If you, sometimes maybe you are hurrying and what, it may delay you. Okay, it has allowed me to log in. So I have now logged in. I've logged in into my Scratch environment. So when you go to online, it's going to ask you to, so mentors, please, if you are guiding learners who are going to use Scratch, make sure that so a parent needs to confirm your account before you share projects. Now, the reason why it is saying this message here, a parent needs to confirm your account, because the date of birth I chose was young. If I had chosen an older date of birth, it wouldn't have brought this option here of confirm your age. Now, if I come here and I create a project, for example,
and I'm logged into the editor, and I am creating. It is going to tell me. It is going to tell me to create a project. Okay, so I will have a project here which I can program, and I can put my sprites. I can go to events. I can put my blocks and whatever conditions I need. I give my program and I call it maybe prayer app. Okay. Okay. So then when I do this, I save my app. So I have my app here. Now, if I want to share it, when I go to my stuff, I'll be able to see my prayer app there, okay? And I should be able to share the app. And so this is it. But now, so when I click on it, it always brings here. Yeah, but I think because of, let me see, because I selected a younger age, let me first go to account settings and I see whether I can change that. I think I cannot change it. Yeah, so what happens is you should be able to see an option for sharing this app, okay? Share the project and unshare the projects. So when I click on this, there should be an option for me to share the app here. But here there is only one option of delete. I cannot share the app, but it should be able to give me options. Maybe let me just show you a small example here as I conclude. So when you go to YouTube and you go to, there are some projects of Scratch which are there, very many. So one of the organizations which has been pushing Scratch a lot is called Makerere Innovation Society. So you can go to Makerere Innovation Society. Okay, Innovation Society. Okay. Okay. So this account, please. Let me ask the teachers. The teachers should be you can create for the learners their account, then they will just host their code, and then you get for them the link. So when I come to Makerere Innovation Society, they were doing some competitions of programming, and you will find some young innovator competitions, which they were doing with Scratch specifically, okay, right from COVID time. And of these projects here, you'll see how learners were sharing the projects. So each learner was sharing with just a link, okay? So this was like a finals. So this was like a finals. So I'm going to show you. So you see these projects, and this is the same thing we are going to expect if you have done programming, especially primary schools. If you have done your programming with Scratch, you will need to do something. You also need to do slides. Like you see this learner here is presenting their project. So this is a young child is trying to show his project here. But before you share the project, you start with slides. You see, the project is solving a problem. You need to list your problem statement. You need to talk about future plans for your project. You need to have slides. We are going to talk about that in the last session. Then after that, you show us your what? Your project and how it works. So now, if you look at this project, for example, let me point here. So in the corner here at the top, there is a link, okay? There is a link. This project is hosted online. Even me, I can go on it right now, and I can play the game. So let me open here, and I type this link. So the link is 56. It is in the YouTube there, in the URL 56713.412. Okay. So this is the project ID. Every project will have an ID. So scratch.mit.edu. Okay. / So that is my. So if the project was shared and is still public, it is going to allow us to access this project and see and play it. So this is the kind of link, scratch.mit.project/5667342. So that is the project that is there. So let me try to open this project. So in this, you can be able to see various programs learners were doing with variables, with what, and these ones were young children. They could show their slides, first of all, how they made their game. And then after that, they could show the game itself and how it plays, and then we could get the winners. So now if I go and I open that link that I've just got, you can see up to now, it is still there. This is the project learners did, it's called Ecoverse. I can also open it here and I play, okay? So the learners did this game and it is able to play. So if I want to see the code, how this game was done, I will click on see inside here. So I can be able to see all the codes are there, okay? So if you don't want your project to be seen before the day for the exhibition, you can have it in your dashboard, but when you have not shared it. So there no one can access it. But then on that day of the exhibition, if you share the link, people will be able to, even judges can be able to log in and they can even see your codes from wherever you are. So they can be able to see your codes, and by sharing, you also your link, you people can be able to see your code. They see how your program is running. They can see the various sprites and how everything is working. So please, those of you who don't have ideas, especially, go ahead and talk about, go ahead and explore. There are a lot of videos here of the competitions that were happening, like around 4 videos. You can go and explore what these children were doing for the various cohorts as they were doing Scratch projects. So then you'll be able to present your link, the link to the project. So for Scratch, we shall need an online link, and for MIT App Inventor, we shall also need a short link to the app so that we can download and test it on that day. So please, mentors, guide the learners, guide them how to host their apps so that we shall be able to see these apps on that day. So at this time, I want to end there, and I want to encourage creativity. We want to see things where we shall be surprised, even as judges. We shall be surprised to see the amazing things you've done. Internet is available, YouTube videos are there, you don't have an excuse. The tools are free, and you should be able to clearly address a problem. Don't just do, hey, I've done this app, but the app doesn't do anything. The app should be able to solve a problem. So make sure that you connect your app, and then we shall talk about making a winning pitch deck on Monday, the session on Monday. But tomorrow, we shall be looking at web design. So maybe, unless if there is any final comment, I want us to conclude with this session, because we have shot a bit beyond the time. But I hope we have been able to address most of the questions that were asked. And also want to thank Kawa team. Kawa, do you have any final comment? Then we can close the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, I'm trying to unmute. Thank you so much, Rogers, and the participants for this opportunity. And I just want to have just connect what we have done here today and the session for tomorrow. There is a very, very strong correlation also between this block coding and the website creation and development. One of the cases I've seen in one of the schools, I think this is Wanda High, where they are doing maybe Bible quiz, and I saw that it is possible to have an app, but this app can be linked to the website. If you cannot really have maybe an API, but there's a way it can just pick from the website, such that a lot of content which we like to share through the app can be first of all stored on a website. It can be a WordPress, it can be a blogger, or it can be any site where through the app, we can also be able to link the other side. So there is a strong correlation between every topic covered and the next one. So it means that in the future, one may not really specialize in one area. We need to be all around, from creative media, STEM, robotics. It depends on robotics, depends on coding. And the coding, of course, leads to quality websites. And the quality websites may lead to have a relationship with the apps. So there is a lot of correlation. And of course, I welcome members so much to especially the picking session. We need to be there. We need to learn how this is done. These are skills for survival. Thank you, Rogers. have the best of the day.
All right, thank you very much. I would like to ask now someone from Brain Set High School or Destiny Preparatory. Destiny Preparatory, please, one of you can unmute and give us a closing prayer for today. I don't know who is getting that blessing. Do we have any child who is on call? Do you still have the children or they have gone home? If they can get one and they give us a closing prayer. Thank God for today's session.
Yes, humble ourselves and we pray. Oh, our Father, you help us when we understand what they have taught us, oh Father. When we are going back home, you help us we remember everything they have taught us. Protect us on the way back home. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. So we meet tomorrow. We are going to be looking at websites. How do we come up with website, simple website projects for the competition? Thank you.